It is hour number 2. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk. And joining us on a Wednesday, although I won't tell everybody, John, that the Tigers are 0-1 with you appearing on the show. John Blau from the Charleston Post and Courier joins us here on the program today. John, what's going on, man? I just feel like I should call you JB. It just feels normal.
Well, yeah, I have plenty of people that call me JB, so you can go down that lane if you want. And yeah, no, this is my first year on the beat, and I came for 2-2 start. We're not really doing very well, am I, right now?
Yeah, Tiger fans are taking you off the beat this week, man.
Look, yeah, it's only up from here, though. We just had to make it interesting.
Nowhere to go but up for this Clemson Tiger team. Obviously, offensively, the struggles continued this past week at NC State. And the thing is, so many people have come after Tony Elliott about it, but Dabo Swanny was pretty quick to stand up for him, not only during his Sunday teleconference, but also during his press conference yesterday. I mean, what's your takeaway from what you've seen, being the fact, seeing as you've covered them just for 4 games? I mean, it really doesn't look like what we've seen personally over the past 6 years with Tony Elliott there.
Yeah, and the explanation is, again, it's just a very young group on that offensive side. And if you do take a second to kind of break it down, again, the offensive line, you're moving Jordan McFadden over to the other side. You got Matt Bachhorst slide over to center. They tried a true freshman, Marcus Tate, at guard. That didn't quite work, so we're at Paul Teho now. But yeah, it's kind of, the message has been that this is really shared blame. It's not just Tony Elliott's fault that, the guys aren't always running the right routes, or the offensive linemen aren't, keying on the right guys, or that DJ Uyunglele doesn't take, some heat off the ball to Will Shipley that's 5 yards away and, let him run for about 50 yards. This is really shared blame. It's everybody, isn't really doing their job right now. And that does include the coaches. I mean, the coaches have to prepare the players to be ready on game day, but the players also have to execute. And it feels like it's kind of a little bit of shared blame right now. And everybody seems to be deflecting for each other. Dabo's obviously, deflecting for Tony Elliott. DJ did that a little bit too. Said that I'll ride with Tony Elliott till I die. And then Tony Elliott's defending DJ. So it's like a little circle of, deflection a little bit. But it makes sense because it is kind of shared blame on that offensive side of the ball.
He's a new guest on Wednesday afternoons with us from the Post and Courier, John Blau, joining the program. And John, I just, I also think about the fact you mentioned these guys supporting each other, but are you surprised at all that Tyson Pumachan, when DJ has shown game after game after game against Power 5 competition to struggle a little bit, some might say mightily, I'll just say a little bit, that you wouldn't at least throw in Pumachan just to see if there's a spark, just to see if it maybe lights a fire under DJ to figure things out a little bit on his own? I mean, that's probably been the biggest surprise for me. Now, look, to try to do that after the half against Georgia Tech or NC State doesn't seem logical given how few snaps Clemson got in the second half of both of those games. But at some point early on, like second, third, fourth series, if he's struggling, why wouldn't you give Tyson Pumachan a chance to try to move this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a tricky situation. I think you've got a young quarterback who's obviously trying to settle in. That's DJ Uyunglele. You have all the confidence in the world in that. He's got all the talent, all the tools. The last thing I think you want to do right now is pull him in a situation like that, because then you're sending the message to him, we don't have confidence in you right now. And especially, again, going back to my answer before, when they don't believe, and I know obviously, the quarterback's the face of the offense, and yeah, we have seen with our own eyes some not very good throws and some hesitancy, some antsy feet, mechanical issues, all kinds of stuff. If you send that message to DJ, you're creating a situation there too. You're creating a narrative even, coming out of that, because after he gets pulled, Tyson Pumachan's in there and does good or bad. Now it's the debate the rest of the season. Should we be switching? Should we put in Tyson once before? Can't we do it again? And I really think this is one of those situations where they believe in DJ Uyunglele, and they want him to work through these growing pains and show him we have all the confidence in the world in you. We're going to stick with you. And I just don't think if you, you know, I think if you do that, if you were to pull him in a situation, you're setting yourself up for a kind of a dicey situation. I kind of really understand what they're doing there. Obviously, DJ has to play better than he's played. A lot of guys, though, on the offense have to play better than they've played. So yeah, I don't think that's really the move, and I think that's kind of why.
So, John, looking at it right now, obviously NC State sort of in the catbird seat to a degree because they've knocked off what's been the king of the Atlantic Division of the ACC in Clemson, and they've got a game up on the Tigers. But their schedule, look, I know we're going to get to see Boston College in person this weekend for Clemson Tiger faithful. They've got Boston College remaining, who's still currently undefeated. They've got Miami on their schedule. They've got Louisville. They've got Wake Forest, who's still undefeated. And they've got North Carolina, who's not playing as well as people expected either. But there's still a lot of potential losses on that schedule for this NC State team, in my estimation. I mean, does Clemson still have a really good chance to get in the ACC championship, or do you think, hey, this is not their year?
No, yeah, absolutely. Because again, this is part of what's the good and bad news about that loss last weekend. I mean, that is not an unbeatable North Carolina State team. I mean, they are a good team. They played a pretty good game, other than the fact they missed 3 field goals. But yeah, you know, they're definitely not unbeatable. I mean, they lost to Mississippi State 24-10. If they have a down day, I mean, they could lose just about anybody that you just named. Yeah. And so, yeah, Clemson has a really good shot here if they get things rolling. Now, again, it's you know, can they? Because I think, you know, one game against Georgia, it's okay. That's a really, really talented Georgia team. We understand that. Georgia Tech's a struggle, and then North Carolina State at times. I mean, 8 times you have 3 plays or less on a drive, 8 straight times. There's been, you know, things are starting to look characteristic. You worry that this is really just what they're going to be. But at the same time, if things do start to click in the way that the Clemson coaches believe it can, Clemson can go on a run, and North Carolina State absolutely could lose, you know, 1, 2, 3 games. I mean, it's not impossible. So yeah, it's very early. It's just September. We haven't even gotten to October yet. We'll get there by the weekend. But yeah, no, you definitely can't write off the ACC yet. I think that's definitely still in play.
He's on Twitter at John, JON_Blau, BLAU. Make sure you go follow him again for the Posting Courier. He does a tremendous job covering the Tigers his first season in. And so what's been the reception from the Clemson faithful to the articles and the things that you've written so far for the Posting Courier? I mean, it's a disappointing season. Nobody questions that, but they've had this incredible run recently. Like, I know there's a lot of spoiling that goes on when you've been as good as Clemson, but what have you heard from those faithful fans that are frustrated right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, not too much. I'm not getting flooded with hate mail or anything like that. I mean, people are being mostly civil. But I think, you know, I think I did right. I think we talked about it last time on the show about just the parity in college football. And, yeah, you know, that's maybe something that people were talking about. It might be something at play here. And I got a reader back who said, you know, parity, this always comes up anytime you're disappointing. You know, the coaches need to look in the mirror. They need to, you know, understand, you know, they always bring up parity when things aren't going well. This is the excuse. And yeah, no, some people take that as an excuse, and it's not good enough. And, you know, I think we talked about it before. Yeah. The Clemson fans have just, you know, witnessed 6 straight years of being in the college football playoff. They've seen their program and they think, okay, Alabama's up there, you know, Ohio State a lot of the time is up there. You know, those programs are always up there. We should always be up there. It's not acceptable to not be, you know, on that level. To be 2-2 is not acceptable. But at the same time, it's college football. I mean, you have turnover. You're going to have years that are kind of down years, just the way it is, especially when you start having injuries too, the way Clemson has. But yeah, you can definitely sense frustration. They're just not used to this type of, you know, start. They expect to be one of the dominant powers, and they've been told for years how bad the ACC is. And, you know, we stand alone in the ACC. This is just really surprising. And I think some people have been taken aback by that, but no, not a ton of, you know, negativity or frustration flooding my inbox, but you can definitely tell it's there to a certain extent.
John, you mentioned the injuries. Obviously, the biggest one this weekend, losing Brian Brzee for the season with the ACL injury. And alongside of him a week ago, you lost Tyler Davis, who incredibly finished that ball game against Georgia Tech with a bicep tear torn off of his arm. Essentially, I can't imagine. I can't even that doesn't compute for me, right? As a radio guy, like I just doesn't make any sense. But how big of a loss is losing Brian Brzee based on what you've seen from him? I mean, he's really a monster in the middle for Clemson.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Actually, just going back to that Tyler Davis thing, I do remember the fourth down stop against Georgia Tech, and I saw the highlight. Skowski makes the tackle, and you see Tyler Davis on the ground, and I thought it was kind of raising his arms, but just looking really exhausted and maybe even a little hurt. And I thought it was celebratory, just kind of like, yes, finally we did this. But then you learn there's a lot more going on there. Maybe the arm having a tear in there, but. Yeah, Brian Brzee is an absolutely huge loss. It's hard to calculate exactly how big that is because he changes everything up front. I mean, the number one guy that everybody's got a key on that offensive line is Brian Brzee. How do we account for that get off? Where our running backs are helping pass protection? They got to be watching that guy in case he gets straight through a gap. You're going to double team. You're going to do all that kind of stuff to try to neutralize him as much as possible. That helps the other defensive tackle. That helps the defensive end. I mean, that usually frees up somebody to get a rush. If you do not have that anymore, you're now the offensive line. Their task is a little simpler in terms of what they're looking at and who they're trying to block and what situation. And we're going to learn a lot about Ruka Rororo and Trey Williams. I mean, how good are they really? How many problems can they cause? Because obviously they were pretty highly sought after recruits too. I mean, Clemson gets to take a little litter, at the top, with the Tyler Davis and Brian Brzee, but the guys are behind them are pretty highly recruited guys as well. We'll really see like how talented they really are. But Brian Brzee considered the top recruit in the country when he came out, one of the best players, if not the best player on this defense. That's huge. And how Clemson replaces that's going to be a huge thing to watch as we go forward.
Not going to lie to you, John, having to hear you pronounce Rook, Orororo, and Paul Teo here today, and DJ Uiagalelei and Tyson Pumachan, I got to think before you came down to South Carolina from Indiana, did you take a look at the roster and go, I don't know, these are some tough names that I'm getting involved in?
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are some really unique names, but it's part of the job. I mean, I think I probably had one or two mispronunciations, but you don't want to sound like an idiot. So you spend a lot of time trying to learn them. And actually, I have a newsletter called the Tiger Take or whatever. And the first newsletter I did was, this is how you pronounce DJ Uiagalelei. This is how you say DJ Uiagalelei. It's a little bit of a rhyme there. But yeah, no, I basically found a video from Big Dave, his dad, where he was basically teaching all of these like 40, 50-year-old fans in this room how to say the name. And I just listened to it for about an hour until I finally got it down. But yeah, no, there are some names on this team. And Ngata as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because that could be Nada. Haloti Nada. It's very similar.
Right.
Yeah, no, there are a ton of Pumachan took me a while too because it looks like Fomachan or
I don't know what it looks
like. Very tricky. Yeah, it's different, but yeah, no, it's you got to get those names right because actually John Blau, I've had people call me Blue, Blah, Bloff, like all kinds of weird things. So I understand how that feels. So I try to get it right if I can.
Look, the funny thing about it is, I too have practiced the DJ, Uiagalelei. I practiced it. Then I'm sitting down with him at the ACC kickoff, and you say, so DJ, just let me test it. Let me see how I got it. DJ Uiagalelei, and then he goes, yeah, that's it. And I say, well, how do you say it? Then the way he says it doesn't even sound like the way I said it. I'm like, I'm so confused.
No, yeah. There was at IU actually. We had another player of Samoan heritage. His name was Theo Nofo Onga Tatoa. And he actually tried to spell it out for me at first. And he just took the letters and just split them up to make it easier to see. But he didn't tell me that the aga, it looks like aga, it's A-G-A, it's actually Onga. And so I was saying Sio Nofo Aga Tatoa for the longest time. And then somebody had to be like, no, it's Theo Nofo Onga Tatoa. And, I was kind of mad at Theo for not really explaining it quite right. But he was trying to be nice.
Right?
I mean, yeah, as long as you get it close, I think that they're all right with it. But, there's definitely a lot of names that, again, if you're a native New Jersey like I am, or South Carolina, you don't always see these. And so, it takes a little bit of time to kind of figure out the rhythms and the syllables and how exactly it goes.
Yeah, last year before the Notre Dame game, I had Mike Tirico on the program, and we were talking about the fact that you had, Owusu Koromoa and DJ Uyunglele making a tackle, and then there was another guy on the defense for Notre Dame, and he said, "Oh, wait till this happens," and he just laid it out there, and I was like, "Man, that's incredible." And it's difficult. Some of these guys, the problem I have now with Rook is that I, like Dabo Swanny, once Dabo said, Rook, row, 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 I immediately go into your boat gently down the stream. And so I can't figure out sometimes how many rows I've already said. And at least it's better than the people that call him Rook or Horo, which is it's almost like you're playing it backwards.
Yeah, honestly, like Rook is a really lighthearted, funny guy. I imagine that's maybe because you have a name like that. I mean, if you're basically saying like Rook, row, like all the time for people trying to like let them know how it is. I mean,
they have to be like,
gotta,
what?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be lighthearted about that. It's not something everybody hears every day, but and that was the one name in the press box this past week at NC State that the guy nailed, the PA guy in the press box. He nailed Rook, row. But he got about 15 different pronunciations of DJ Uyunglele, and every single time we heard it, we're like, nope, didn't get that one, buddy. But it's they're trying their best.
Oh, I could tell you the guy on TV, he butchered Pumachan. Oh, it was not pretty. But it happens, man, with those names. And John Blau's got you covered again with the Post and Courier, keeping you updated on the Clemson Tigers. Final thing, John, I wish we had a little more time. But I do want to ask you, I mean, BC comes in undefeated. Obviously, the situation with Jerkovic going down was a huge deal for them. But I love their coaching staff. I think Jeff Hafley's incredible. I don't know how long he'll be there. Like, he feels like a dude that's going to be in the NFL or at another power program at some point that's got a little bit more, quote, football tradition. What do you think about this Boston College Eagle team? I know it's still early in the week being a Wednesday, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to tell at first. I mean, when you looked at the teams they were beating, I mean, obviously Colgate, UMass, Temple. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with those scores. But then they go and Missouri is a legit team. In the SEC. I mean, you beat them 41-34 in overtime to gut out that win. Jerkovic, am I saying that right? Tell me how to say it again.
Jerkovic, I believe is how he says it.
Jerkovic.
Yeah. Speaking of names.
Exactly. Speaking of names. You got, Grossell in there now, a quarterback. I mean, he's completing about 61% of his passes. And I think it was something like 270 rushing yards, 275 rushing yards that they got on Missouri. That's a pretty good deal, and we've heard about their offensive line. I mean, they've got some dudes up front, and so again, we talk about that defensive line without Brian Brzee, without Tyler Davis. I mean, Clemson's going to get tested, in the trenches in this one. How ready is Rook? How ready is Trey to really kind of anchor there? You're definitely going to find out this week with that offensive line and the way they run the ball. So now this is definitely a legit test for Clemson, and especially just a really huge game. You got to stop the bleeding here. 2-2, a lot of college football programs would look at that, say it's not that bad. But for Clemson, again, the standards are a lot higher than that. They need to bounce back win. They got to play well to get it, though, because I do think this is a pretty good Boston College team.
John Blau with the Post and Courier. We hit a quick break. Stay with us.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on Alpine at Faraway Drive. Also an accident, I-126 outbound near the Greystone Boulevard exit. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Ensure Max Protein. Try great tasting Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure Max Protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For more information, including consumer survey details, please visit Ensure.com.
Guys, now there's no excuse. Peak Performance for Men has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction. The question is, what are you waiting for? Live the life you want today with a free consultation. No medication, no pumps, no needles, no pain, no surgery, and absolutely no downtime. Just non-invasive acoustic wave therapy that will have you back to your natural form. That's right. Now for a limited time, a free consultation. There is no risk. Fix it for good with one phone call. Call the Columbia office today at 803-302-8181 or find them at peakperformanceformen.com. Why wait? Enjoy your life to the fullest. Peak can make the difference. Call 803-302-8181 and get your free consultation now. That's 803-302-8181. Peak Performance for Men.
Fall is here, and so are the Studemeyer Heating and Air rebates. Flex your way to savings on a top-of-the-line Bryant Evolution Extreme with a 10-year parts and labor warranty and get a free air purification system, a $2,000 value. Get up to $500 direct rebate on Bryant Preferred Series gas packs and package heat pumps, or up to $2,000 off on split systems. Financing options available, including 12 months same as cash. Go to StudemeierHeating.com to flex your rebates and save money now. That's StudemeierHeating.com.
At Firehouse Subs, we make our subs differently because our subs can make a difference. And now it's never been easier to grab our subs to go for you or your whole crew. With Firehouse Subs Rapid Rescue to Go, you can save time when you order online at firehousesubs.com or on our app. And we'll have your subs boxed, bagged, and ready for pickup at our designated to-go areas. No lines, no waiting. Just more big, bold, craveable subs that help save lives. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans, but in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
For 60 years now, the Federation Center of the Blind has been making a difference in the lives of visually impaired South Carolinians through its innovative services. You can help them continue their important work by calling 803-254-3777 or emailing nfbsc@sc.rr.com. Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
Rolling along on a Wednesday on Twitter at Clemson Sports, the show that shakes the Southland, typically broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Not today, just streaming on the iHeartRadio app, Fox Sports Radio 1400. So the college football playoff and the potential expansion of said playoff has been a topic of conversation now for several months, including a couple of meetings over the past few weeks. Executive director and former guest of this program, Bill Hancock, told reporters yesterday that the decision makers tasked with determining the future format of the sports postseason, quote, have the luxury of time to figure it out. He went on to mention the fact that the college football playoff in the 8th season of a 12-year commitment where ESPN is the exclusive rights holder. He said, quote, "We have time because if the event is going to change before the end of the term, the end of the 12 years, we have 3 or 4 months." He says, if it is going to change in year 13, then we have a couple of years. Now, again, if you are a Clemson Tiger fan today, sitting there at 2-2, sitting there at number 19 in the country or number 25 in the country, you clearly understand now the conversations that I have had about why it is better to have a larger inclusion in the college football playoff. What are you today in this rendition of the college football playoff? You are out. It is September. Now, look, you could say, Swanny, but you just said the other day you get a little luck, you got the ball bounced the right way, a lot of crazy things happen, you could get in. I agree, yes. But do you know how much crazy would have to be? They'd have to be more crazy than one of these real world shows on MTV, more crazy than the Kardashians. I mean, it'd have to be really, really crazy in order for Clemson to climb back into the college football playoff at this point. Like, if Clemson is in the conversation of the college football playoff at this point, then I will forever vote to scrap expansion. Forever. Because I don't believe they're going to be. But I do believe that if you had a larger pool to choose from, that the opportunity would present itself that Clemson could climb back into one of those top 8 spots, one of those top 12 spots, whatever it ends up being, top 10. I don't care where you put it. But what it does is it keeps more people invested longer. Now, certainly we got Gamecocks out there peeking over the fence going, Swanny, did you see how bad you guys are playing? You think you deserve to be in the college football playoff? Not in the 4-team deal at this point, no. The only way you get into the 4-team deal is if some, as I said a moment ago, craziness happens. And I mean real crazy. But if it's an expanded playoff and you want to pitch me that, look, it's 4 games in, you got a young team, they mature throughout the course of the campaign, they continue to climb the rankings, they win the conference, then yeah, I think 2 lost teams in a larger playoff not only could deserve to get into the playoffs, but could win the thing. I mean, for crying out loud, when the New York Giants, and this is always the best reference for anybody, when the New York Giants beat the New England Patriots for the Super Bowl back in 2008, let's not forget that was an undefeated New England team going into that ball game, potentially trying to break the all-time mark set by the Miami Dolphins. But that New York Giants team was 10-6. And nobody sits around going, man, the Giants didn't deserve to be there, Swanny. The only reason they were there is because of the expanded playoff. Do you know who had the right to be invested the entire season in their team? That New York Giant football team that went into the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. Just like you Clemson fans or anybody else whose team is on the outside currently looking into the college football playoff and even further down in the rankings, if there was a larger opportunity available for you, you could potentially still be in the mix. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like you're in the mix. Even if today you feel like you don't deserve it. I mean, that New York Giant team started the season 0-2. They lost 45-35 to Dallas and 35-13 to Green Bay. 0-2. They even got beat by the New England Patriots in the final game of the regular season. Albeit the Patriots were probably resting some people. But to me, when you look at it from top to bottom, the fact that it is September the 29th and you are out, Tiger fans, save for a sliver and a miracle crazy finish, you're out. But if this playoff expands, you'd still be in it right now. Yeah, you'd be talking about how difficult the start of the season was. Everybody be saying, yeah, but if Clemson rights the ship, we believe they're one of the top 4 teams out of the gate. Does it change the dynamic of college football? Yeah, I think for the better. Keeps more people in. Keeps more fans invested. Isn't that how you get eyeballs? Invested fans? I mean, if Clemson's ratings the rest of this season are as good as they have been in the past when they are rolling towards the college football playoff, wouldn't you be stunned to hear that? Even if you believe that Clemson had the best fans in the country, wouldn't that be a shocking revelation? Of course it would, because it's not possible. The numbers are going to fall off left and right for Clemson at this point because they're not in the college football playoff. People are turning their attention to other things. Fans are jumping off the bandwagon. Keeping the playoff available to more people longer is better for the sport. It doesn't water it down. It makes it better for more people.
Our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime music event, is coming to the CW.
Let's get it started.
The biggest stars from all genres of music share one stage.
Billie Eilish,
Cheap Trick, Coldplay, Darius Rucker,
Dua Lipa,
J. Cole, Journey,
Khalid,
Lil Baby,
Nelly, Sam Hunt,
Weezer, with special guests,
Florida Georgia Line,
Walker Hayes, performances you've never seen before and will never see again.
The 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Watch this Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. on Columbia's CW.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
It's time to get your home insanely clean. Listen, Zero Res cleans like no other. No harsh chemicals and no sticky, soapy residue is left behind. And right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $119. Plus, when you mention this station, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Schedule online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Hi, it's Gary David. Are you ready to take a shot at finding a new career? FN America, a growing world-class design and manufacturer of the world's most innovative and quality firearms, is looking for you. At FN, you'll be part of a passionate team that takes pride in knowing they're doing their part to save lives and protect our freedom. FN offers outstanding benefits, including an on-site health and wellness center, excellent health plans, profit sharing, and 401k plan for all employees. So start carrying your future today and explore career opportunities at fnamerica.com/careers.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
The AFC West is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in all of football. Right now, you have the undefeated Raiders and Broncos on top with both Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater off the hot starts. The Chargers have one of the best young quarterbacks in Justin Herbert, and the former MVP, Patrick Mahomes, currently in last place. I'm thinking that's going to change. I'm Chris Collinsworth.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
iHeart playlists are how you create a mood, hopefully a good one. Whether it's a morning workout or late night chill, it's totally free to create and edit unlimited playlists on the free iHeart app. Just name your playlist, search the song you want, and add it. Boom, you're in. So go ahead, add Foo Fighters to your workout playlist, Imagine Dragons to your traffic playlist, or go nuts and make a Green Day greatest hits playlist. You can even add songs while listening to live radio. Create free playlists, only on the free iHeart app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's sports radio done only the way Fox can do it.
Always something to talk about. There's always controversy. And
you're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan again on Twitter at Clemson Sports. We heard yesterday from Dabo Swanny, and on Monday we heard from Tony Elliott. Today we'll get into a little bit of Brent Venables as he sat down with the media. He was first asked about Bryan Bresee and how Bresee was handling the situation, dealing with his torn ACL and the revelation and recognition that he's going to be out the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, I think he's under the circumstances, he's doing as well as you could expect. Obviously, incredibly disappointed, and he's put a lot into this season. So to have it to be injured and go through, all that process, this is probably hadn't hit him a whole lot yet, but just as you would expect. And he's a really, really good player, and but. Again, we got other guys that got to step up and got to get better this year. And it's a great opportunity. I think you saw a little bit of how many plays it was, but well over a quarter, of those guys getting in there and mixing it up. So
there you go. Brent Venables talking about Bryan Bresee and, just a monster in the middle, as we've talked about here on the program a couple of times today. It's just I just hate to lose that guy because, he had become really just a stalwart, just a impressive, explosive, powerful guy on the interior for Clemson with a lot of speed too for a big guy, a lot of speed. Venables was also asked about how defensive tackle Trey Williams is doing. Still a young guy. Still growing and developing. Here's what Brent Venables had to say about Williams and his play.
Same stuff we saw before, when we started. Again, a talented young guy that's learning how to play. And he's got a live body. And he's got a good get off. And got a good future in front of him. He's a pleaser, works hard, competes. And, getting better every day.
Brent Venables there talking about, again, Trey Williams. He was also asked about this Boston College offense and what he's seen from them. Certainly the Eagles hoping to have the same type of success they did a year ago against Clemson, all that being without their starting quarterback. But here's what Venables had to say about what BC brings to the table on Saturday.
Well, I thought last year they executed really well, really well. I don't, again, if it works, it's a good plan. If it doesn't, it's not so good. They executed at a very high level. We're in great position on a number of their plays. They made some good plays. We turn the ball over. They score quick. We got down. I think then in the second half, we played better. We made more plays. And
What do you see out of the team, out of them this year?
Very disciplined. They're improved at running the football. I've seen the quarterback for a few years now. He's been on their roster for a while now. Good athlete. He's got a good arm. Makes good decisions. He's a gamer. A veteran offensive line. Every guy's back up front. They're huge. They can run the inside and outside zone plays. Do a great job. I think they're tops in the ACC in regards to tackles for loss given up, sacks given up, maybe first in the conference and third down offense. So executing at a very high level.
Brent Venables again talking about that Boston College offense. One other thing we'll get to here. He was asking about James Skalski, and Skalski's supposed to be ready to go this weekend. Obviously had a little stinger this past Saturday against NC State. Who knows what happens over the next couple of days during practice, but here's Venables' thoughts on his super senior and certainly a huge leader for this defense.
You would expect him to be frustrated, Again, nobody's worked harder than him, so that comes with being banged up. There he is. That's him right there. But he's a dude though. He'll respond, and he's good to go. Practice today.
So again, a pretty funny moment there hearing Brent Venables with Skalski walking by, like, there he is. You ask him, but it gets even better because Venables is asked essentially, when Skalski gets hurt, was he fearful of what could happen? Venables, he's a coach, and look, he's got to go with the 11 guys he's got. Listen to his response to this little exchange. It's spectacular. This is classic Brent Venables here.
Are you asking me if I'm fearful?
No, when
or him?
Out, I don't think I can ask.
What's that?
I didn't know if there was any. If you guys.
I don't really spend any time. I'm like, who's goes in, and then you try to make adjustments. To be very honest, you don't spend any time really being fearful. You just, okay, what are you going to do now? And so I think we've done a good job at developing our depth. And, the thing that he brings is a leadership and a level of anticipation that, only experience can give you some of those things. So there's a little bit of a void there. And when he's not in there from that standpoint, which is what you'd expect, it's to be like taking your starting quarterback that's been a multi-year starter, and all of a sudden he goes and, the bench. Next guy probably most of the time isn't going to be quite as good. And you can go down the list of, unless you got two guys that are co-starters at a position. So anyway, I thought our guys did well. I thought, between him, Tyler Davis, Brian Brzee, Mario Goodrich, and those guys weren't in there. I thought the other guys did really pretty well overall. So that was pleasing, and that experience will pay off.
So there you go, Brent Venables. I love that. Just no, like I don't have time to. Are you worried, worked up, whatever the phrase was? No, I'm just got to put the next guy out there. It is what it is. Guys get hurt. It's college football, sports. 803-450-0086. I don't know where 2 hours went, folks, but 2 hours are about in the books. We got a final segment coming up here on a Wednesday afternoon as we keep it rolling for you on the show that shakes the Southland. You know it. It's the People's Show here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 the Midlands, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You're locked in to Clemson Sports Talk.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Education doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are many ways for children of all ages to learn about sustainability and environmental education at home. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Earth for a list of resources, activity guides, and toolkits that are educational and fun for the whole family. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
There's a hot new podcast we think you'll like. Variety's Strictly Business. Hear candid conversations about business deals, strategy, and the future of media and entertainment from industry A-listers. Hosted by Variety business editor Cynthia Littleton and co-editor-in-chief Andrew Wallenstein. And once a month, executive editor of music Shirley Halperin will join the conversation to discuss the business of music. Listen to Strictly Business on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Way back when, Colombia was a vast dining desert, a wasteland for fast, fresh, authentic Southwestern food. Weren't nothing bundled up nice and warm in a tortilla. Colombia needed Diablos. Southwestern the way you want it, the real deal, with no shortcuts in quality and served up as fast and fresh as you want it. Diablo Southwest Grill, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. DiabloSouthwestGrill.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Are you ready to see every Fixer Upper episode ever? Now you can on Discovery Plus. Stream every demo and every design from the show that started it all. Plus, design and remodeling pros Chip and Joe are back with fresh ideas for turning outdated homes into innovative living spaces. In the new series, Fixer Upper Welcome Home, new challenges, stunning home transformations, and every episode from the beginning. Get it all for just $4.99. The streaming home of Fixer Upper and so much more, exclusively with Discovery Plus. Start your free trial today.
Movement is always driving us forward, whether it's on the track, the court, or on the field. Every move we make and every mile marker we pass leads us to find out just how far we can go. Goodyear, more driven.
Take an ordinary putty knife and scrape off the old wax ring. Place the new wax ring over the flange, then line up the bolts with the bowl and gently set in place, making sure a proper seal is created with the flange and drain. Next.
Dad?
Yeah, sweetie.
Is that an old plumbing manual?
Oh, yeah, honey.
We really need to get some new books.
Right, do you want me to stop?
Nah, I kind of want to know how it ends.
Okay. Tighten the bolts, line up the flushing valve to the opening in the top of the bowl, and secure the tank with a screwdriver and crescent wrench.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
Final segment on a Wednesday, Lawton Swan, Clemson Sports Talk. You know, we haven't had a chance to hear much from the tight ends this season, and certainly they have had their fair share of drops, and it's been disappointing. Look, I expected Braden Galloway to be the second coming of Jordan Leggett. That is clearly not happening for him. I've kind of thought that for 3 years now. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, why am I still worrying about it? Davis Allen, however, has moved into the starting spot there at tight end, but even Davis, not been impressive. Has not been spectacular. Clemson, I mean, that's another spot they're hurting. Like, we can talk about the offensive line, but tight end productivity, ugly. But Davis Allen was asked about where this offense could improve, and here's what the young tight end had to say.
Just little things. I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot for, maybe like with technique and stuff like that. But there's no major issues with this offense. There's nothing that sort of nature. It's just the little things for us that are very fixable and just, we just got to go back to work and be honest with ourselves and, just keep giving the effort and the passion, because that's there. And, this team plays extremely hard, and everybody cares. That's not an issue. It's just the little details with us. And we'll get it right. No one's worried. No one's freaking out.
My thing is, it is a significant problem. Like the offense is just not good right now. And the fact that they haven't scored more than 14 points against Power 5 opponents in regulation, to me, is significant. And yeah, it can be a little thing here, a little thing there, but I'm almost tired of hearing that at this point from Clemson, because there is more to it than just a little thing here, a little thing there. There's got to be more to it at this point. He was also asking about how the team is sticking together. The morale, if you will, of this Clemson team in 2021.
I think everybody's fine. I think they're good. Yeah, we want to win, that's what we do here, and so there's that part of it. But no one's quitting on each other. No one's, pointing fingers. That's not who we are. It's not the culture here. Everybody's just like, all right, how can we get better? It's time. We need to really fix things that need to be fixed. But no one's pointing fingers. No one's doing nothing like that. Everybody's, times like this, either you're going to split or you're going to come together even stronger, because outside world, everybody on Twitter and media, they're like, what the heck's going on? Trash, and just, it's all negative stuff. And so, this is really the time where we come even closer together. And you come, the bond that you have with each other becomes stronger. And so, I'd say overall, everything's good. We want to win, we want to fix the things, but there's no pointing fingers, nothing like that.
Again, Davis Allen, Clemson tight end, talking about things. And, I think that, yeah, this team's probably got the right morale. They probably have everything locked in. But again, that's Dabo Swanny said that the other day. You can splinter, or you can come together. And I get it. But it still feels like, from the outside looking in, that there are bigger issues plaguing this Clemson team offensively that maybe I didn't even want to acknowledge a week or so ago. Inability to rush the football continues the second year. Lack of engagement of the tight ends in the downfield passing game. Certainly not taking enough, or not putting enough of the weight of this offense on the legs of DJ Uiagalelei. I think there are several things. The offensive line having its issues. Not really having a stocky, wide out type player, a true slot guy. I mean, when you run Justin Ross in the slot, it sounds good. It hasn't been good. I'd like to see Justin Ross back on the outside edge, to be honest with you. Maybe that would push Frank Ladson. Maybe that would push him a little bit, Joe Ngata. Just kind of keep E.J. Williams. Just keep these guys pushing, fighting, battling. Because it has not been working out. It has not been great. Again, Davis Allen was also asked about who he feels like the leaders on this offense are at this point.
I don't think we're lacking leadership. I think the offensive leaders have been the guys that were recognized in fall camp. Say DJ's a leader. The kid's young, but man, like that kid, he put so much effort in. He worked so hard, and I'm extremely proud of DJ. I really am. You got Jordan McFadden and Bob Horse at O-line. Those guys are the rock of the O-line. And receivers, you got Justin. He's the vet. He's extremely experienced, and those guys just kind of, watch what he does and trying to learn from the best. And tight ends, I'd say it's Braden and me. But there's no lack of leadership on this team. There really isn't. I mean, this is my third year here, and this might be just like overall amount of like hard workers we have. I mean, like guys really care. Like there's not an issue at practice. Like we're going 110% every day, all day. So that's not an issue at all.
There you go. So we'll put a bow on it with Davis Allen. Again, I did love those comments that he had to make earlier this week, just giving you the mindset of this team and where these guys are. But Tiger Nation, man, it has not been great. And look, I get it. I'm the guy in the Midlands that waves the banner for you guys. But there are some issues there that if they don't get addressed here in the next couple of days, Boston College might come into Death Valley and walk out of there with a dub. And then that really crushes any ACC championship game dreams. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you for hanging out with us here on a Wednesday afternoon. Again, it's the show that shakes the Southland sports
Clemson Sports Talk
every day.
with Lawton Swan.
Until next time, as
on
always, y'all
Columbia's
take care
home for
now.
Sports.
And go
Fox
Tigers.
Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on Alpine at Faraway Drive. Also an accident, I-126 outbound near the Greystone Boulevard exit. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell's semi-annual sale for business has arrived. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 10 Pro. Enjoy specials on Dell docks, monitors, and servers. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. So call 877-ASK-DELL to speak with a Dell Technologies advisor.
Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Fall is a season that's a little in the middle. It's sort of the best of two seasons. It's no longer a sweaty summer, but the winter chill is still around the corner. And that's the perfect time to feed and seed your lawn with Scott's Turf Builder. Even better than spring, because the soil is still warm, but the air is getting cool. So your lawn gets the most nutrients in the best combination of temperatures. Feed and seed now with Scott's Turf Builder and build the best lawn for every season. Scott's, it's good out here.
There are a lot of exciting things happening this fall. It's time to focus on what's important and think less about what's for dinner or when you can stop at the store. Luckily, HelloFresh delivers everything you need, like a choice of 50 menu and market options every week. It doesn't hurt that it's 30% cheaper than grocery shopping. Plus, there's fresh produce in every box. HelloFresh has a ton of quick and easy recipes, which are everything on busy weeknights. Pre-portioned and measured